Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Zero Hour. You know, the Amazon River people have a beautiful legend about the dolphins that live there. They're called pink river dolphins. They're beautiful, they're exquisite. And the legend says that sometimes those dolphins become shapeshifters. They assume human form, very attractive human form, and they seduce unwary travelers. Then they lure them to a magical, wonderful city called Encante. But there's a catch. The catch is that this city is underwater. Once they've taken you there, you can never go back home. You can never go back to the world you knew. That's the thing about myths. There's always a catch. Now let's talk about the Amazon Corporation myth. I have a piece in this week's Salon about it. I've been writing a lot about Amazon and its sister big tech companies. Our society runs on a digital myth. This myth says that the tech-based economy is different, special, magical, that somehow it's not subject to the principles of human nature or economics that govern the rest of our lives. This myth says that there's something called a sharing economy. That's a wealth creating phenomenon with no downsides. It creates money out of nothing, and that somehow there's no human cost to what the tech companies do. This myth tells us that we use services like Google and Facebook for quote unquote free. And it insists that corporations like Amazon have unlocked magical technology secrets that allow them to bring the wonders of the world to our doorstep through something like prestidigitation. But the Amazon River myth has one major advantage over the Amazon Corporation myth and the big tech myth. The dolphins may not be magical, but they're real and they're beautiful. The tech myth is nothing but illusions all the way down. Now, don't get me wrong. Being an Amazon customer can be nice, for sure. Books are cheap. You can get them quickly. If you have a Kindle or an iPad, you can get them right away. A Prime membership comes with even more. Look, there are great things about it. I get it. Monopoly sometimes has short-term benefits. So you don't have to hate yourself if you're an Amazon member, but you should ask yourself, where do these benefits come from? Who pays for them? What effect are they going to have on our economy and our culture? Because I'll tell you, it's not going to be good. Amazon is following an old model for the tech industry. First, you roll out something very cheap or quote unquote free, typically something they've taken from others, and you do that to get a monopoly. Once you have the monopoly, the tech vendor will use it to extract all sorts of costs, visible and invisible. They may make its vendors pay the cost. They may make its customers pay the cost. They may make society as a whole pay the cost. Think about Microsoft. Microsoft, which actually was reverse engineered from another form of software, was the very cheap built-in IBM operating system. Now, that allowed it to very aggressively capture a monopoly, and it abused that monopoly. In the 1999 court case against Microsoft, the judge found all sorts of abuses of its power and position, but they were able to get that his actual judgment overthrown and cut a deal. Now, but you pay for monopoly in Microsoft every single time you sit down at a Windows computer, and it's slow and inefficient. That costs society in many invisible but very deep ways, and wasted time and wasted effort and inefficiency on the job. Now, Google, for example, has been better than most in terms of innovating technology, but you pay for Google in terms of its manipulation of what you see and don't see. Facebook, which was never, frankly, very good at designing software of any kind, makes you pay when it manipulates your newsfeed. It makes you provide the content, and then it distracts your attention. YouTube was free for a while. That was wonderful. Now you got to watch an ad in order to see it. Each of these are costs, visible and invisible. And when Amazon, for example, tries to shaft publishers, now publishers aren't saints either, but when it shafts publishers, in the end, it's writers and creative people that lose out. When these companies shaft warehouse workers, as Amazon has done, or bus drivers, as Google and Facebook have tended to do, or any other parts of the greater economy, they are shifting wealth upward, damaging society, and putting the freedom of expression at risk. I'm not saying you can't have great tech, and we cover some great tech here on the program. I'm saying there is nothing free in this world. And if you think that, then you're better off visiting a magical city called Encante, where everything is free, but you can never go home again to the life you knew. I'm Richard RJ Eskow, and this is the Zero Hour.